Welcome to the Workamper Show, brought to you by Workamper.com. This podcast helps you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. Each one of our episodes will introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to work camping opportunities all around the U.S. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Today I'm interviewing a couple who funds their travel lifestyle by selling advertisements for campground directories at locations throughout the southern states. Yet there are opportunities in different parts of the country as well. Today's episode is sponsored by Workamper News. If you have more questions than answers when it comes to the work camping and RVing lifestyle, then don't worry, Workamper News has your back. Attend a free monthly work camping Q&A webinar to get your questions answered. Each month, the knowledgeable team behind Workamper.com hosts a free live webinar where they answer questions submitted by folks just like you who are learning about the RV lifestyle, just getting started, or have been work camping for a while. They cover topics like what kind of work camping jobs are available, what do those jobs pay, tips to writing a work camper resume, questions to ask an employer, what type of RV is best, how to get your mail as an RVer, and much more. In the description of each video, you'll find a list of questions that were answered so you can quickly jump to the sections you want to hear. Register for the next live webinar at workamper.com/answers. Or listen to detailed answers now by watching the recordings of past Q&A webinars on the Workamper News YouTube channel at youtube.com/workcamper and click on the Q&A on Work Camping playlist. Grady and Kristie Watson started RVing in 2021. Originally from Dallas, the couple sold their home and used the proceeds to buy a truck and travel trailer, which allowed them to travel for 6 months. They loved traveling and wanted to continue RVing full-time. However, because they were still in their 50s, Grady and Kristie needed to make a professional income to support their lifestyle and prepare for retirement. While at an RV park in Texas, they saw an ad for sales reps in the campground directory they received when checking in. They were intrigued by the opportunity and called for more information. Soon, they were tagging along as an experienced sales team demonstrated the ropes before Grady and Kristie were assigned a project of their own. Of all the things they like about the job, flexibility is the number one benefit. A close second is the income they can make by selling ads and working with the AGS staff to design the directories. Before hitting the road, Grady was a pastor and Kristie was involved in real estate. They certainly had the people skills needed to be successful sales reps. To tell us more about their work selling ads for campground directories with AGS, please welcome Workamper's Grady and Kristie Watson to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Grady and Kristie. I appreciate the time. So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Like, when did you start RVing?
We started actually 2 years ago about this time of year. We fit the category of we just needed a life change. We sold our house at the right time in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The proceeds, we were able to buy a truck and a trailer and really live for about 6 months just on the road without having to think about getting a job. And that you can only do that for so long. And we enjoyed it, but then it was time to find a job. And so and just a fun little story. We found out about AGS through the guides. Actually, the company puts ads in their guides, different parks to recruit, and so we were the Vineyards in Grapevine, and we saw that ad and responded to it, and here we are.
That's fun. So you sold your house, used the proceeds to travel around the country, and realized, oh, this is nice, but we need some extra income. And we need a little bit more purpose to our life. So you approached AGS. Tell us a little bit about what AGS does.
AGS is a company that works with campgrounds all over the U.S., and they provide a product for them that has their site map, their rules, their TV channels, just information about the park in general. And that is provided at no charge to the campground. And we come in and sell ads, and the advertising actually pays for the product. And so our job is to go in and find local businesses that are RV related, RV repair, wash, detail, that kind of thing, but also local businesses, maybe restaurants and different things, attractions around. And so we go out to those businesses and look for advertisers. And so it's great for the advertisers because they have this very specific group of people that they're advertising to. And that guide gets put in every hands that comes into the park. And so then that's our job. We get a up to 2 week stay at the park at no charge. But sometimes people talk about it as like free camping, but it's definitely not free camping. It's just that's the parks, how they contribute to the process. And so it helps us to be able to stay and get to know the campground and the area and provide a really good product for them.
Those guides are invaluable for people who are brand new to an area. They don't know anything about the area, what to do, where to go, where the businesses are. So I, as a full-time RVer a number of years ago, just loved looking at those directories. Yeah. So what does it involve? Are you cold calling businesses, or are you basically taking a list that they provide you that have people who've advertised in the past?
We have the list of renewals, the businesses that were in the guide the previous year. So that's definitely a starting point. It's not cold calling. And most of those, I think company-wide, we have 75 to 85% renewal rate. So that's really great. And then there's a fair amount of cold calling, either businesses that were in the guides previous years or new businesses or just whatever. You go and you get a lay of the land and figure out how the business community is working and that kind of thing. There's a whole lot to it. And it's a lot of fun for me. I do the sales part of it and Kristie does the administrative part of it. So
I would panic if I had to cold call.
So you don't do any kind of sales at all, Kristie?
I don't. I handle the paperwork, putting the artwork together, laying out the guide itself. We have an art department and they actually do the ads and do the layout, but I just put it in place like a puzzle, put it together, and then they fix it and make it look nice. So that's my role on this side.
And she also works with the park to get their information the way they want it as well, the management there.
Okay.
Yeah, update them in the area guide and stuff.
I mean, it's kind of common sense that when somebody is coming into an area, what kind of businesses are they looking for? And that could be anything from veterinarians to dentists to doctors or clinics to the local Walmart, those kinds of places that people need to know about and where they can get the products and services that they desire. So all you do is just knock on the door and say, hey, we're representing the campground and we're creating this map and this resource for every RVer who comes into our campground.
Yes.
Would you like to put in an ad?
Exactly.
Then they tell you, yes, we'd like to put in an ad and we would like it to include this information. And Kristie kind of takes a napkin and sketches out what they would like it to look like and passes it on to somebody else who is far more creative to actually put it together. That's simple.
And it's even simpler than that because it's the advertisers in the guide work as a recommendation list by the host, the camp management and that kind of thing. And so we ask the staff, even all up and down the hierarchy of the camp management there, who they recommend, because we want to make it easy for them to recommend it. So it's easy for them to recommend somebody that's in the guide. They just point to the ad. So.
Absolutely. The campground owners probably are networking with businesses all the time, and they're referring people to those businesses. So it's probably not that difficult. It's not rocket science to be able to do that.
I think what's been really rewarding for us is that we always go in and look for some of the smaller local businesses that really could use some support and some new clients. And so we love working with them, especially like the smaller restaurants or the mom and pop places. And that part has been rewarding to us to know that I don't know how to say that exactly, to say that better.
Getting good advertising for really relatively small.
Yeah, to help local businesses prosper, that has been very rewarding for us, and to make that connection and relationship with the park so that they're supporting each other and working together in the community. And so that's the part that we've seen going back to campgrounds that's really special.
Did you receive any training before you started working there?
Yes, we met with they're dear friends now. They were strangers back then, but AGS sent us to campground in Texas to meet up with some of their seasoned veterans. And we spent a week with them. They were working a job at the same time, and they graciously took time out of their already busy schedule to spend time with us, training us, showing us the ropes. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Did you follow them into some of those presentations with the advertisers?
absolutely.
So they
Yeah.
showed you how to do it and the steps to do it and what to, so you weren't thrown into the deep end and told to figure this out on your own.
Not at all. And they made themselves, and I think this is part of it, they made themselves available for questions even as we went out on our own. We could call them anytime for anything. And we did a lot.
Okay.
AGS has a great manual that they send out to their trainers that we went through in detail that week that we were with them. And it also connected us to the AGS office and the employees that we work with on a weekly basis. So we knew who to call for what in the company. And they are really great to add a lot of support. So the office is very supportive and fun. They're also a lot of great people. And so we've enjoyed between the AGS and then the other colleagues that we work with, there's a great support to help us. On some days, it's just a bad day. You hear a lot of no's when you're cold calling. So I think sometimes you just need a little extra encouragement, and they provide that, and that's been great. So
How many hours are you working on a typical day or week?
Yeah, that's tough to say because when the phone rings, that's a potential advertiser. And sometimes they're busy during the day. But I would say when we're on the job at a park, meeting at a park, working for the park and getting advertisers, it's probably a 30 to 40 hour a week like normal. We work during the week and not necessarily on the weekends. We try to work hard and play hard.
Did you say that it's typically a 2-week stint?
Typically, yes. Yeah. It could be less. Sometimes when we have several parks, more than one park in the same market, we call that a multi. And the market overlaps a little bit. So we don't necessarily need 2 weeks times that many parks. So it's typically a 2-week for a single park. It'd be a 2-week job.
Does AGS tell you which parks you're going to go to, or do they make them available and you get to pick the ones you'd like to do?
yeah, they let us know what parks that they have available, kind of that makes sense in our route and the areas. Some people may only work a few states because that's where their family is and that's where they're located. But depending on kind of your specifications, they give you some options and you can take that. Or if that doesn't fit in your schedule, you can say no. But we have several, now we've been doing this for over a year. So if you get done with the job and for some reason you can't go back to that job or it didn't work out really great for your schedule that next year, you can give it back. But you get to keep the jobs that work for you. And so now we have a really great route. We start the first of the year in Port Aransas, Texas at the beach, and we're there on a job for about 2 months. So we have 6 or 7 parks there now that we work. And then we go to Grapevine, Texas, and we work a park there. And it's a bigger project because it's a big community there. And so we spend about 3 weeks working that park. And then we have couple of parks up in Hot Springs. Then we go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And then we go to Forsyth, Georgia. And then we go down. We just got done with a 2-month time in the Florida Keys. And so that is now our new route. And so we will know and can plan for next year how to do that.
So you're supporting your entire lifestyle by working at about 8
Well,
locations.
8 locations.
How much can people expect to make in this kind of a position? It differs based on the parks and things like that. But are we talking minimum wage?
There are a lot of variables, and it also depends on what you want to get out of it, what you put into it. We're not retirement age. We're in our early 50s. And so we went into it saying we're here to work a lot. And so you can make a really good living, a normal living. And on top of I haven't decided if the RV lifestyle is cheaper than a brick and mortar yet, but we're doing really good and we're happy with it. And so you can make it supplemental to retirement income or another source of income, or you can make it a really good living.
And I like the idea of having a route that you can plan on. And it also allows you to create relationships with the advertisers. So it's not like you're cold calling every time. You're just
Right.
going back and renewing that relationship and finding out what their needs have changed and contending with it that way. Super.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yes.
and when they're assigning these routes the first time, they're not like telling you got to go up to Oregon and then all the way down to Tennessee for the next one, then back to Arizona for another one.
No, our GM, his name is Michael, and I don't envy his job because I don't know how many reps there are, sales teams there are right now, but it's usually maybe 20 or 20 to 30, and all these parks that he has to get assigned, and it's his responsibility to get people to all these parks, and so I can't imagine the logistics and how that all works. But yeah, he works very hard to make sure that we're not crisscrossing the country or crisscrossing each other that much.
And I think a lot of people you have to do, I think they ask you to do 12 parks a year. So that's about 6 months to get that done. And so that's a commitment, your minimum commitment going in. And then from there, you can, we obviously do more than that, but even in that, we work about 9 months out of the year. Since we do travel in so many places, it's nice to have time to come back and spend with family. So we'll be with our family for the next 2 months. We're off, and then we'll start again. And then we take another month off in around April. There's a lot of variables in there that you can manage your life and your needs and where you need to be in the country at different parts of the year. And yeah, it's a hard job for Michael, I think, to help us all do that, but they're so gracious to do that and to make it really work for their reps.
Do you still get time off to explore the areas that you're visiting?
We usually schedule about a week in between parks, and so we get to explore between A and B, but then also we really take advantage of our time where we're at as well on the weekends and the evenings. It's life, and so you can do what you want to when you're not working. And so we've taken full advantage of that to the point that we bought e-bikes and inflatable kayaks, and so we can really see the off the road place that the places offer.
Excellent. Were there any special skills that are needed to do this job?
Sales, definitely. If you have a background in sales, I was a realtor before, and Grady didn't have any direct sales. Actually, he didn't.
I was a pastor before, so dealt with people a lot, and Kristie kind of dealt with the technical side of sales, so that we made a good team there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of yeses, but there's a lot of nos, and so you have to understand that your personality needs to match that. That's why Grady's great at that. He can go in and talk to anybody, and that's really good for him. And so it's nice that there's that side of it, and then there's a more technical side of it. They do have some people that do this alone, and some individuals who do both sides of the job. And so it's possible to do that on your own or as a couple.
So it would work for a single. Could a family do it?
I suppose a family could. There's some things to consider. Absolutely.
We don't have any families right now that do this, but I think it is something that definitely time management wise could be done. So it would be interesting to talk to a family and kind of see how that would work for them and talk through it. But because it would be a really exciting life for the kids, because it really does allow you to be free.
You're visiting a lot of fun areas, it looks like, so it would be a great opportunity for them, and it doesn't seem like it'd be too tough. One person might have to go out and knock on doors and meet with the clients, and that still leaves another person back in the RV to watch and homeschool the kids. So we would encourage families to approach AGS and explain the situation and see if there's anything that they could do.
Definitely.
When it comes to pay, are you paid a commission on all sales, or do you have a minimum quota that you have to meet first?
We're 100% commission. And then the company is very generous with what that commission is, and also bonus structure and that kind of thing. We do have a print minimum. We're paid on commission a certain level up to the print minimum. But then if we go over that, it's really more of a reward to go over that print minimum, because then it becomes a even more substantial commission.
Super.
Once we go over. And so that's our goal. Every single job is to go over the print minimum, because we get into some pretty hefty commission.
Decent bonuses, absolutely.
I was going to say, Brian and Deborah are the owners of the company, and they did this job and before they bought the company. And I think it's neat from that perspective, because they've been on the road. They know what this feels like. They know the cost and the wear and tear and on your vehicle and all those things. And so they've really made it, the commission is structured so that it just works great.
It's worth it.
Yeah, for the reps. It's just a really good, they go out of their way to reward you and to help you along the way. And so that's been great.
What are some of the other kinds of perks that you get to enjoy? You had mentioned that you get the free RV site to stay at while you're working for the park, and you get a decent commission. Are there any other perks?
Besides the freedom, we're our own boss. We're independent contractors, which again, and Kristie alluded to it earlier when we're deciding on a job, we have the right to accept it or not, or keep it or not. So the flexibility is a big perk. A year ago, my dad had been ill, and this is, I don't know if this is a perk, this is an example of the flexibility. And so he came home from the hospital on hospice. And so we were up in Maryland at the time working a job, beautiful park there, and we cut that short. We were still able to finish the job, but we cut our time there short and just drove back. And we were able to be home while my dad passed away, and then in the aftermath helping my mom set up, and we were there for 3 months before. And so those kinds of things, for both good reasons and just life happiness, the flexibility is a huge perk, I would say.
And we had 2 other jobs left that year. And we just called the office and let them know that we were leaving. We made the decision. We left within about 24 hours of finding out about Grady's dad. We drove home. And so they took care of the other 2 parks, and some other reps covered that for us. And so there was just zero holdover to worry about. It just, that part was really great. There's a lot of support because life happens. And so that was great.
If you wanted to visit a different part of the country than the one that you're on your route, how is it possible to get up into that area?
Could go on our off time. There's nothing stopping us right now to take off and go somewhere. But also, you just let Michael, the GM, know that you might want to visit that area in this time of year. And if he's limited by the parks they have signed on, and whether or not somebody already has it. And so you just put that out there, and he would do his best to help us get there for work. Yeah.
So if you said, I'd really like to visit the Pacific Northwest sometime in the next year, then Michael could say, we've got this new job coming up, or this one became available, and we can fit it in your route this way. Would that work for you, and give you the option to decide whether to do that or not?
And that's a very good idea. We should tell him. We like the Pacific Northwest.
Super.
So, one of the things about that, your off time, I think because the job does have such a good commission, and you have your time off, you have money to go and to do and explore as you want. We even brought both of our kids and their families down to the Florida Keys when we were there, and had opportunity to take a long weekend or off and enjoy time with them. So there's just a lot of, you're not bound by just the parks, because it's not about free camping. It's about earning a living. You can make those decisions to travel and to go on a cruise or whatever in the middle of jobs. And because we schedule the parks. And so they give them to us, and then we decide when we're going to be there. So
within the
time frame that, So if you need to take off a few weeks and do something different, or if you just want to do that and it works with the schedule, then you can do that and make those things happen.
Fair enough. So the park would say, we need you in July. And then you would have the ability to say, okay, we're going to do it early July or late July, and everybody's happy as long as it's done in July.
And it really has a lot to do with when it was done previously, because the advertising lasts basically for a year. The amount of guides that we give them, they last for roughly a year. And so there's those schedules that we have to work with, but there's flexibility within that.
Where could people get more information about this opportunity if they wanted to do what you do?
They can go to agspub.com, and from there, there's plenty of information. I started by going to the actual rep page, and I looked at the reps who were doing this, and then I found some of them on social media and looked to see, I think sometimes you're not sure, is this a real job or not a real job? And so some people call that stalking. I just called it research. And so I just went to their website and to their Facebook page or their Instagram just to see what they were doing and where they had been, and to get a good picture of that. And that was really helpful. But there's plenty of information on agspub.com.
If people wanted to connect with you and ask you questions without feeling like they're stalking, how could they do that?
You could go to our Facebook page. It's Kristie Watson, SYDOW Watson. We're there. Or you could email
us, Grady, Chris, KRIS. So GRADYKRIS.RVlife@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, guys, for doing this. I really appreciate the time. It sounds like a great and lucrative opportunity for people who like to travel and have some interest in sales as well. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. We loved it.
I appreciate Grady and Kristie Watson for sharing their experiences as AGS advertising representatives, helping to create directories for campgrounds and RV parks. The work isn't that difficult. When the couple starts a new assignment, they get a free RV site at the campground they are representing. After receiving a list of previous advertisers from AGS, Grady makes appointments with those business owners to see if they'd like to renew their ads or make any changes. The campground manager also alerts them about any new businesses which opened in the area that would provide services or products to visiting RVers. Then Grady would make an appointment to show that business owner a map and explain how RVers use it. Once he gets a commitment to advertise in the directory, Grady passes on the information to Kristie. She creates a rough sketch of what the ad would look like and how the directory itself should be laid out. Then she passes those on to the art department at AGS, where professional graphic artists do the heavy work of completing the designs. Once Grady and Kristie are assigned a campground, they can work with that business every year as long as they'd like. That helps them to establish relationships with local business owners. The couple works 30 to 40 hours a week for 2 to 3 weeks to complete a project. Then they move on along an established route and schedule. Grady and Kristie currently represent about 8 locations, typically in southern and southeast states. However, if the couple wanted to visit a different part of the country, they could let AGS know of their desire. If a campground in that region needed help, Grady and Kristie could ask to see if it could be fit into their travel plan. Basically, they're working about 6 months out of the year and making enough money for them to travel the rest of the time. They also try to schedule a week between assignments so they can explore an area and enjoy some time off. More information about the opportunity can be found at www.agspub.com. Then look for the Join Our Team link. There you'll find details about becoming a sales rep, as well as names and photos of current reps. If you think it's the right type of job for you, there are links on the website to complete a brief assessment and to fill out an application form. People can also connect with Grady and Kristie on Facebook or by email at gradychris.rvlife@gmail.com. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News. With its Diamond and Platinum membership tools, Workamper News is much more than just a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. The one-year memberships open the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with a community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then a Diamond or Platinum membership is for you. You can even get started with a free 30-day trial by visiting www.workamper.com/trial. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all for this week's show. Next time I'll be speaking with a representative from the Grand Teton Association about an opportunity to work inside that spectacular national park in Wyoming. I'll have details on the next episode of The Workamper Show. Thanks for listening. If you like these interviews, please consider leaving a review wherever you download the episodes.